Welcome, gents. David here, Core Confidence. And tonight, talking about the topic, how to avoid heartbreak in love, especially with the women that you want, the woman that you want, right? And super important topic. You know, I speak to a lot of guys every week that might be coming out of a heartbreaking marriage or relationship that are ready to move forward and take care of their love lives and really have the success they want and deserve, like they've done so in other areas of life, aka like in their career, business. A lot of the guys are in good shape. They're older guys. I'd say majority of the guys I speak to are actually in their 40s or 50s. That's the median age of guys, and they're done well in their career, business. Most of them. Or sometimes they're, you know, what I call the blue collar badass. They might not have the traditional successful job, but they're hard workers and they're willing to, you know, invest in themselves, especially time, energy, effort, those types of things, and really put in the work that's required to have the love life they want. Which, funnily enough, it also tends to upgrade one's career. Guys was working with client the other night, and he was amazed at how this stuff also transferred into his career as a consultant. Okay, just happens. It happens all the time. And if you check out any of the case studies, you can always go to coreconfidence.com. Up in the top says results button. Click on that, and you'll hear several stories of guys that not only drastically improve things in their love life with women, but career stuff too. It's a natural side effect. So let's talk about this. It's important, you know, because nobody wants to get heartbroken. And if you've experienced heartbreak, which I have, I know most of you have, there is the saying, it's better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. Probably, I would say that's probably very true, but it still sucks to lose in love and to have heartbreak. So we're going to talk about some key concepts here to help you with this, to really get your head around this. You know, and especially if you're coming out of heartbreak, you know, maybe you're in a position where you're still dealing with some after effects, but you want to move forward. And then there's maybe some of you are still in it, and maybe you wanting to get her back, whether that's your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or whatever, or maybe you're worried about being in heartbreak with a woman that you're seeing now that you really like, but it seems like you're more invested in her than she is in you. Okay. And so let's dive right in here, because it's painful, right? And you don't want that to happen. And obviously you also don't want to hide away and do nothing, because then you won't be experiencing. And, you know, there's a certain amount of risk that we got to take, right? You know, there's all the rhetoric out there that says, you know, well, you gotta put your heart out there and you gotta do this. And there's absolutely some truth to that, but there are also some notions that I believe we need to crack the code on, that we need to demystify here, which we will, that cause a lot more heartbreak than is required for you to feel. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about is being finished before you start. Okay. Being finished before you start. Too many of us, including me, formerly me, get drawn in by the notion that there's the one out there, right? And she'll complete me, right? There's the one, she'll complete me, blah, blah, blah. And this really super romantic notion of falling in love with a woman. And it's funny, because I used to think it was women that were more romantic this way, but I found it's actually the opposite. I'm not saying women aren't romantic or don't feel that way about men, but the tendency that I see in speaking to guys every week on this, you know, I had in the last month 70 some guys apply to speak with me. I only get on the phone with about half of them because I can tell who's, you know, going to be a fit or not sometimes pretty easily. Well, sometimes half the time. And if they're ready to really handle this and they, you know, want to really move things forward here, get their 9 or 10 love life, like I've been starting to discuss. I'm gonna start using that term a lot. But what I find is that, you know, the traditional notion of chasing her and wooing her like Rapunzel. You remember, ever heard the story, the old folk tale about Rapunzel, 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 let you down your hair, saving the fair maiden. Okay, this old thing that really doesn't apply anymore. If, you know, I guess it did back then. I didn't live back then. It doesn't apply anymore. Okay. Maidens can save themselves. They can make their own money. They can do all kinds of shit. And it's almost as if women know this and can sort of play on it sometimes. Okay. That, and make a guy do things. And she says, you know, jump, and you ask how high, right? That's how it feels like. And you'll do anything to be with her, and all these emotions are involved. So you finished before you started because you have bought into this notion, this Hollywood notion. I love that Hollywood has really capitalized of, you know, put yourself out there. And if she just seems so interesting, or she's so hot and attractive, you know, or she's so sexy, or, you know, a lot of this, she's got these things, but if only that. And so I'll just throw it all together and I'll just go for it. Right. And it's kind of, it's not being wise about how we're relating to women. Okay. And it's buying into this basically bill of goods. First of all, that someone can complete you, because they can't. Those emotions that you seek that she generates are only happening in you, by the way. So you can learn to self-generate those. Little tip there. But and then she's icing on the cake. You know, the cake should be you, not her. She doesn't want to be with somebody needy and desperate anyway. She will be, especially if she thinks she's going to get resources out of it, or, you know, all the time women will get married and have a kid, all these types of things. And the guy is almost like a drone. And I'm not blaming women for this. It's biological, guys. It's like wired in there. Okay. You ever notice, like, you know, if a woman's friends are all starting to get married, or getting baby fever, then boom, she gets it too, right? It's natural. It's how we're set up to be biologically, especially women. And so you can get taken along for the ride of all that, and then, you know, be there, be supportive, be the provider, all these things. And then one day she says, I've found somebody else. I'm sleeping with somebody else. I don't love you anymore. And you're like, what the hell? 20 years later, I hear these kind of heartbreaking stories all the time. So you have to realize that the story of love that you experience is that it's a story. You can create your own, and you can create your own version. Okay. That ties into what I'm speaking about a little bit, which is understanding attraction with women. Okay. Fortunately, unfortunately, guys, you know, especially when you have kids, guess who comes first? Right? And I'm not saying that it's only like that, but naturally, when you don't understand attraction with women, when you don't understand how to be the guy they're attracted to, not just from the first meet to date, to sleep together, to see each other casually, to get into a relationship and getting married, but all the way through, right? Is that she's going to be, her resources want to go to taking care of. That's how our species propagates. She's the master caretaker of the kid. It came from out of her body. She's programmed to do that. Right. So a lot of those, you have to understand those agendas are going on. And if you play into the wrong side of that agenda of only being the guy that provides, then yeah, she's going to lose attraction. Okay. So, and of course, understanding attraction is a whole topic. I talk about it in a lot of other videos, go deeper in my Attraction on Command Masterclass. I'm not going to go into that here because I have 5 minutes before I got to jump on a call anyways, to help a guy out. Okay. So, so you gotta realize that women aren't just women, and attraction it just doesn't just happen. That there are things that you've got to learn and know about how this works, and on deeper levels, if you really want to get healthy power and control in your love life, and ultimately avoid the heartbreak, right? And so, last couple things here because I got to get going. I have a busy day, and I wanted to get on here and do this to help you guys, but got to get going. So focus on success instead of avoiding heartbreak. Focus on, what's that picture of success look like? How do I really want it to be? If I wasn't to buy into the normal romantic notion of love, oh, only if I had her, then my life would be complete. What would that life look like? Okay. And I can talk about how to help you on that in a second as well, personally. And then lastly is quite simply, I could talk about all the time. You got to become the type of guy they want. You got to be who you are at your core, but you got to make those changes if you're not getting the results that you want. And be the guy that I recommend, which is the one that inspires them to chase you and adore you, to be that guy that's not like all the other guys, especially if she's real attractive. She's got a lot of suitors. It's like you want to flip the script and make her your suitor, okay? And this is all for the greater good of you having what you want, her having what she wants, actually, because I'm not telling you to be a player, jerk, bad boy, manipulator, because you really could go down that path with the stuff I talk about. I don't recommend it. I don't want you to do it. You shouldn't do it, okay? But you do whatever you want ultimately, right? And I constantly tell my clients, I constantly warn them, because this stuff is so freaking powerful, right? I'm not here to make you weak. I'm here to make you powerful. But like with great power comes great responsibility, which means you can go light or dark. You can go Jedi or Sith, right? You can go white magic, black magic, ultimately by the choices you make, okay? I'm here to empower you and try to lead you towards the light side, right? So that's it. That's the quick synopsis, right? Don't be finished before you start by letting go of the standard romantic notion of love, which is a lot of bullshit. Seeing what that and feeling what that would really be like for you, that notion of success in your life, in your love life, understanding attraction to women and becoming that guy that they'll chase and adore, right? And so if you want some personalized help to take this to the next level, to take this to the next 2 levels, really, to take it to the 9 and 10 level, I'm gonna start using that. I love using that, because we're not about status quo here. We're not about mediocrity and mainstream. We're about having the best in life that you want and deserve, like you've done as a successful guy in your other areas of life, career, relationships, health, so on and so forth. So send me a PM and we'll see if it's a good fit to chat. And I can definitely help you to map out what's working, what's not, and even what's that ideal picture of love look like? Because sometimes it's really difficult to do it on our own, especially if you're not versed in change work. We might call this transformational work, where you're transforming your life and really shifting things. But that key piece that's always in your life is you, right? So you got to transform you. And that's really hard to do on our own a lot of the time, especially if you're coming up against new ideas, new concepts, new ways of doing things to get different results. And you got some internal challenges, because this ultimately comes down to an internal game. It's a mental game, a behavioral game, in that sense that I don't mean game and like playing games, but kind of like, hey, if we look at it as the game and something that we can win, then we're going to set ourselves up for success instead of this big serious, thing. And if only from my love and all that Hollywood stuff, right? Which, don't get me started on Hollywood movies where they take a really attractive actor and they turn him into a big wuss boy. And then that's supposed to be your model. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay. So I encourage you to reach out, send a PM. Always, you can go check out coreconfidence.com. Plenty of stuff over there. Facebook live videos and stuff in here. And then of course, reach out on PM if you want to chat about if or how I can help you out. Okay. Got to run, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.